I wanted to talk a little bit about one of my favorite scientific effects, or studied phenomenons in human psychology, and that's definitely the Dunning-Kruger effect. And people Dunning-Kruger, the Dunning-Kruger effect. What I mean is that people don't understand what the effect is, and they use it in this very generic, watered down way uh, to sort of make fun of each other. And there's a deep irony there, right? Because the effect is about people who are not experts misunderstanding the difficulty inherent in a domain. And so the Dunning-Kruger effect is not a simple effect. Um, it's not as simple as, oh, when you're stupid, you make bad decisions. It's actually more complicated than that. And the idea that people run around mislabeling it is funny. So this is the Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm going to talk through this diagram really quickly. So let's imagine that you're going to take a test and you're somewhere on a skill spectrum. And this is let's take this as an individual case. So you are this very simple person. You're a stick person. And let's imagine that, you've picked up a new domain. You've decided you're going to be a web developer, or you're going to be an actor or something. And because you don't have skills in the domain, again, not intelligence, because you don't have skills in the domain, when you go to estimate your performance or how hard something's going to be, you will be inaccurate, right? And then what happens is that over time, you get to a point when you could be considered an expert, or you reach, let's call, a median level of expertise for the domain. So let's say in a programming context, you have 4 years of experience, or let's say in say you build houses and you've been doing it for 3 years. Now in that situation, you then become skilled enough to have as an accurate prediction. That's because you're in that median expertise level. This is also around a period of time, and this is true in all domains. Like, why are you making a prediction in the first place? You're making a prediction because other people are involved, right? So because you are similar to other people and working with these people, you then become you're as accurate as everyone else. But there's another side to this, and I would say in my research online, it became obvious to me in the way people use Dunning-Kruger, it became obvious to me that nobody was talking about the second part of this equation. The second part of the diagram is about your journey to becoming very skilled and how that actually makes you inaccurate again. And it's because when you are very, very skilled, you cannot accurately estimate how hard things are for other people. When you're up here in the Dunning-Kruger effect, when you are very skilled, not only do you have skewed perception of other people's performance, but it also turns out that because you're such an expert, you're aware of all the complexities, and all the ways one can make a mistake. And that comes from, crossing this barrier from being a medium expert to a massive expert, like you know everything. And that means that you know of all the problems you can face, and you can actually you know, become inaccurate again about your own performance. In fact, you could even have a tendency to make things more complicated, or to over engineer things in the case of a software developer. So there is a sweet spot with skill. And there is, being aware of this effect matters. Like, you know, you might be a wizard with databases and you can set up a SQL server in an hour. You might be an amazing graphic designer and you could whip together a landing page design in an hour. And you forget that when you were just 2 years in, it took you 3 weeks or 2 weeks to do the same amount of work. It's very important to understand both sides of these, because the reality is no one sits in the center of this graph. It's kind of funny to dig into it. So this Wikipedia page is pretty good. I mean, it's right here in the definition. It is true that the Dunning-Kruger effect usually is defined specifically for self-assessments, but there are a lot of theorists, some, who also discuss the reverse effect, the tendency of highly skilled people to underestimate their abilities relative to the abilities of others. and there are some great papers on the subject. So I just recommend that anyone interested in the effect read up on it. Maybe specifically for the Dunning and Kruger, maybe be careful about sharing it because it's just deeply ironic if people keep missharing and misusing the Dunning-Kruger effect, because they're Dunning-Krugering the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it's just maybe people shouldn't change. Maybe it's fine the way it is because it's hilarious. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Try to remember this image. If you know a lot or you know a little, you're inaccurate. It's only when you know an average amount that you're accurate, right? Anyway, that's it.